You know that moment when your entire world collapses in the span of about 30 seconds? When everything you've worked for, everything you've sacrificed for, everything you've believed in just evaporates into thin air, when the ground beneath your feet disappears, and you're left falling into a void with no idea how to catch yourself. When every memory you've ever made becomes tainted by the realization that it was all built on a foundation of lies. That was me at 8:47 a.m. on a Monday morning, standing in my own living room, staring at two police officers who had just informed me that I was under arrest for embezzlement. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. My mind was racing, trying to process what they were telling me. My whole world was crumbling around me, and I had no idea how to stop it. The officers' faces were grim but not unkind. One of them, a woman with tired eyes, read me my rights while the other scanned the room like he was already cataloging evidence against me. My coffee sat cooling on the side table. The morning news still playing softly on the TV, a perfectly ordinary day that had just been shattered into a million pieces. My name is Nadia. I am 43 years old. I have been married to my husband Marcus for 20 years. We have 2 children together, a daughter named Isabella, who is 18, and a son named Samuel, who is 15. We have a beautiful home in an exclusive gated community, the kind with manicured lawns and neighbors who wave when they drive by. We have a golden retriever named Max who thinks he's a lap dog. We have a vacation home on the lake and a ski condo in the mountains. We are that family. The one with the perfect lawn, the perfect holidays, the perfect social media posts that make everyone else feel inadequate. I am a successful accountant. I have built my career from the ground up, one client at a time. I have always believed in honesty, in integrity, in doing what is right. I believed my marriage was one of those things. Right? True. Built to last. Marcus is a successful architect, the kind of man who commands attention when he walks into a room. He is tall, handsome, and has a gentle smile that makes you feel safe. He is also kind, thoughtful, and completely devoted to his family. He is the kind of man other women wish their husbands were like. He is the kind of father every child deserves. I met him when I was 23, fresh out of college, and working my first real job at a small accounting firm. He was 29, already on his way to the top. He swept me off my feet from the very first moment. He was everything I had ever wanted in a man. He was kind, intelligent, and he made me feel like I was the most important person in the world. We dated for 2 years before he proposed. It was a fairy tale proposal, the kind you see in movies. He took me to a beautiful restaurant overlooking the city, got down on one knee, and told me he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me. I said yes, of course. I was madly in love with him. I could not imagine my life without him. He was my everything. Our wedding was beautiful, a lavish affair with hundreds of guests, a 5-tier cake, and a live band. I wore a designer dress that made me feel like a princess, and I walked down the aisle on my father's arm. When I saw Marcus waiting for me at the altar, I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. I thought I had it all. I thought I was living the dream. But dreams have a way of turning into nightmares. Those police officers in my living room were there because someone had accused me of embezzling money from my own company. Someone had provided evidence that seemed to prove my guilt. Someone had set me up to take the fall for their crimes. Someone who knew me well. Someone who had access to my personal information, my work passwords, my financial records. Someone who was supposed to be my best friend. Vanessa and I had been friends since college. We met in our freshman year, 2 young women with big dreams and even bigger ambitions. We had been roommates, confidantes, and partners in crime. We had been through everything together. The good times, the bad times, the heartbreaks, the triumphs. I remember the night we stayed up until dawn, sitting on the floor of our tiny dorm room, sketching out our business plan on a pizza box. We were going to be the youngest, most successful female accountants in the city. We laughed, we cried, we promised each other that nothing would ever come between us. When we graduated, we decided to start our own accounting firm. We were young, ambitious, and determined to make it. We worked countless late nights, sacrificed weekends, and poured our hearts and souls into building our business. We celebrated our first client together. We cried over our first loss together. We grew together. I still remember the framed photograph on my desk, the two of us in front of our first office, a shabby little rented room with a flickering fluorescent light, grinning like we'd just conquered the world. She was my maid of honor at my wedding. She held my hand when I gave birth to my children. She was there for me when my mother died. She was the first person I called when I got my dream job. She was the godmother to my children. She was my rock, my support system, my everything. I had trusted her with my life. I had trusted her with my business. I had trusted her with everything. And she had betrayed me, in the worst possible way. The accusation was devastating. I had been accused of embezzling nearly $500,000 from our company. The evidence seemed overwhelming. There were bank statements showing transfers to my personal accounts. There were forged documents with my signature. There were emails that appeared to be from me, authorizing the transfers. It was a meticulously crafted frame job, and in those first horrifying moments, I couldn't see any way out. I knew I was innocent. I had never taken a penny from our company. I had never signed those documents. I had never sent those emails. Someone had forged my signature. Someone had accessed my email account. Someone had set me up. And as the truth settled into my bones like ice water, I knew exactly who it was. Only one person had that kind of access. Only one person knew my passwords, my routines, my vulnerabilities. I started doing some digging. I needed to know who was behind it. I needed to find the truth. I needed to clear my name. The arrest was just the beginning. They released me on bail, but my reputation was already in tatters. I couldn't go back to the office. My clients were calling, demanding answers. My family was in shock. I had never felt so alone. I hired a private investigator. I gave him the names of everyone who had access to my information. I told him to dig deep. I told him to find everything. I met him in a coffee shop across town. A quiet man named Leonard who had a background in forensic accounting and a demeanor that inspired confidence. He promised me he'd find the truth. What he found made my blood run cold. Vanessa had been planning this for years. She had been systematically framing me for crimes I didn't commit. She had been stealing from our company, making it look like I was the one doing it. She had been forging my signature, creating a trail of evidence that would lead straight to me. Leonard showed me the patterns, small amounts at first, testing the system, growing bolder as she realized no one was watching. She had practiced my signature until it was indistinguishable from the real thing. She had installed keylogging software on my office computer to capture my passwords. But that wasn't all. I also found out that Vanessa had a secret, a dark secret that she had been hiding from everyone, a secret that would destroy her. She had a gambling addiction. She had been losing thousands of dollars at casinos for years. She had run up massive debts, debts she couldn't pay. She had been desperate for money, desperate for a way out. Leonard found casino markers, debt collection letters, and records of late-night trips to a riverboat casino 3 hours away. She was in over her head with some very dangerous people, and she had decided to frame me to get it. I had her. I had all the evidence I needed to destroy her. But first, I needed to confront her. I needed to look her in the eyes and ask her why. I met her in a park, a public place where she couldn't run. When she saw the folder in my hands, her face went pale. "What is that?" she asked. "It's everything," I said. "The forgeries, the transfers, the gambling debts. I know what you did, Vanessa. I know you framed me." She started to cry, but they were tears of self-pity, not remorse. "You don't understand," she said. "I had no choice. I was in over my head. I was going to pay it back. I was going to fix everything. By destroying me? I said, my voice shaking. By sending me to prison for a crime I didn't commit. We were supposed to be sisters. I never wanted to hurt you, she whispered. I was just so scared. I didn't know what else to do. You have everything. Nadia. The perfect husband. The perfect family. The perfect life. I was drowning. That's not an excuse, I said. You didn't just betray me. You tried to destroy my entire life. And for what? Money you gambled away? She had no answer. I turned and walked away, leaving her standing there in the park, alone with the ruins of our friendship. I didn't look back. I was devastated. I was angry. I was humiliated. I was destroyed, but I was also determined. I gathered all the evidence I had. The financial records, the casino records, the forged documents, the fake transfers, the stolen money, the proof of her gambling addiction, the proof of her scheme, the proof of her plan to frame me. I had everything I needed to destroy her. But I didn't want to just destroy her. I wanted to make sure she could never hurt anyone ever again. I wanted to make sure she would never have the chance to do to anyone else what she had done to me. So I started planning my revenge. I contacted my lawyer, a formidable woman named Catherine, who specialized in white-collar defense and knew exactly how to flip a case on the real perpetrator. I told her everything. I showed her the evidence. I told her what I wanted. Mrs. Davis, she said, you have a very strong case. Your business partner has committed fraud, embezzlement, and identity theft. She has been stealing from your company. She has been framing you. She has been destroying your reputation. I can help you. I can make sure she pays for what she's done. What about me? What about the charges against me? The charges against you will be dropped. The evidence clearly shows that you were framed. Your name will be cleared. Your reputation will be restored. Good, I said. That's what I want. I want my name cleared. I want my reputation restored. And I want her to pay for what she's done. I also contacted the police. I gave them the evidence. I told them everything I knew about Vanessa's crimes. I told them about the embezzlement, the forgery, the identity theft, the gambling addiction, the massive debts, the plan to frame me. The detective I spoke to, a patient man named Detective Walsh, was initially skeptical, but as he reviewed Leonard's findings, his expression hardened with resolve. She was arrested a few weeks later. They picked her up at her apartment, which was sparsely furnished because she had sold almost everything to pay her debts. She was charged with multiple felonies. She was facing serious time. She was facing the destruction of her reputation. She was facing the destruction of her life. When Marcus found out, he was devastated. He had been completely taken in by her. He had trusted her, loved her, defended her, and she had been destroying his wife the whole time. He sat on the edge of our bed, his head in his hands, and wept. She used me, he said, his voice breaking. She used me for my money, my connections, my access. She never loved me. She never cared about me at all. She just wanted to destroy you. She just wanted to take everything you had. I know, I said, and for the first time, I felt a flicker of sympathy for him. She used you, just like she used all the others. I'm so sorry, Nadia. I'm so sorry for everything. I should have listened to you. I should have believed you. I should have protected you. It's too late for that, I said. You made your choice. Now you have to live with it. The trial was brutal. Vanessa sat in the courtroom, her face pale, her hands shaking. She tried to defend herself. She tried to spin the story. She claimed she was a victim too. She claimed I had manipulated her. She claimed she had been coerced. She claimed she had been in love. Her lawyer tried to paint her as a desperate woman, driven to crime by forces beyond her control. But the evidence was overwhelming. The financial records, the casino records, the forged documents, the fake transfers, the stolen money. It was all there. Everything she had done, everything she had tried to hide. Leonard testified, walking the jury through every transaction, every lie. Catherine Cross examined Vanessa so effectively that by the end, the jury looked at her with undisguised contempt. The jury found her guilty on all counts: fraud, embezzlement, identity theft, forgery. She was facing a long prison sentence. She was facing the destruction of her reputation. She was facing the destruction of her life. When the verdict was read, she looked at me with hatred in her eyes. "You'll regret this," she said. "You'll regret destroying my life. You'll regret everything. I'll get out. I'll come after you. I'll make you pay." I looked back at her, my face calm, my voice steady. "I'm not destroying your life. You destroyed your own life. You made choices. You made mistakes, and now you have to live with them." She was led away in handcuffs. I watched her go, and I felt nothing. No pity, no satisfaction, just relief. It was finally over. She could never hurt me again. After the trial, I started the long process of rebuilding my life. My name was cleared. The headlines that had once screamed "local accountant accused of embezzlement" now read "woman framed by business partner speaks out." My reputation was restored. I went back to work, and I was welcomed with open arms by the clients who had remained loyal, and the new ones who admired my resilience. My colleagues had believed in me. My friends had supported me. My family had stood by me. But I was changed. The experience had changed me. I was more cautious, more guarded, more protective of my boundaries. I didn't trust as easily as I used to. I didn't give my heart away as freely. I looked at every new friendship, every business partnership, with a wariness I'd never had before. I started going to therapy. I needed to process everything. I needed to work through the trauma. I needed to learn how to trust again. My therapist was a gentle woman named Dr. Patel, who helped me unpack the layers of betrayal, grief, and anger. "Nadia," my therapist said one day, "you've been through a terrible ordeal. You've been betrayed by someone you trusted. You've been accused of something you didn't do. You've been through a trauma that would break most people. But you're still standing. You're still fighting. And that takes incredible strength." "Thank you," I said. "I don't feel strong. I feel broken. I feel like I'll never be whole again." "You will be whole again," she said. "It will take time. It will take patience. But you will heal. You will find your way back to yourself." I also started spending more time with my family. My children needed me. My husband needed me. My family needed me. Isabella, my 18-year-old, wrote her college application essay about resilience. And when she read it to me, I cried. Samuel, my 15-year-old, started learning about forensic accounting from YouTube videos, telling me he wanted to make sure no one could ever hurt someone the way I was hurt. Their strength became my strength. We started going on vacations, not to the lavish places we used to visit, but to quiet cabins by the lake, where we could hike and talk and reconnect. We started having family dinners again, real ones where no one checked their phones. We started talking about our feelings. We started healing together. It was a long process. There were many dark days. There were many moments when I wanted to give up. But I didn't. I couldn't. I had come too far. I had fought too hard. I had survived too much. I also started to speak out. I told my story to anyone who would listen. I wrote articles. I gave interviews. I shared my experience with others. I wanted to help other women who had been through similar situations. I wanted to show them that they could survive. They could thrive. They could rebuild. I created a support group for women who had been betrayed by friends. It started small, just a few women in a church basement. But it grew, and grew, and grew. Soon, there were dozens of us, then hundreds, then thousands. We shared our stories. We supported each other. We helped each other heal. I remember one woman named Celia, who had been framed by her best friend for a crime she didn't commit, just like me. When she told her story, I saw my own reflection in her tears. And when she smiled for the first time in years, I knew that what I was doing mattered. I realized that the best revenge was not in destroying her. The best revenge was in thriving, in building a better life, in becoming the best version of myself, in showing her that she could not destroy me, in showing her that I was stronger than she ever imagined. I also started to focus on my career. I was promoted to managing partner of my firm. I rebuilt the company from the ground up, this time with safeguards and checks in place that made it impossible for any one person to commit fraud. I was recognized for my leadership, my integrity, my vision. I was making a difference. I was building something meaningful. And I was happy. Truly happy. For the first time in a long time. It's been 3 years since everything happened. 3 years since I discovered the betrayal. 3 years since I destroyed the person who had hurt me. 3 years since I started to rebuild my life. I am happy. I am at peace. I have everything I ever wanted. A loving husband who has stood by me through the darkest of storms. Beautiful children who have grown into resilient, compassionate young adults. A successful career that I rebuilt with my own 2 hands. A life filled with joy. Vanessa is still in prison. She is serving a long sentence. She has been abandoned by everyone she loved. Her family has disowned her. Her friends have deserted her. She is alone, forgotten, lost. I don't think about her much. She is not worth my time. She is not worth my energy. She is not worth my thoughts. I have forgiven her, in my own way, not because she deserves it, not because I have forgotten what she did, but because I can't carry that anger around forever. It was too heavy. It was destroying me. I had to let it go. I have learned a valuable lesson. Trust is fragile. Once it is broken, it is almost impossible to rebuild. And sometimes the people you trust the most are the ones who hurt you the worst. Sometimes the people you love the most are the ones who betray you the deepest. But that doesn't mean you should stop trusting. It doesn't mean you should stop loving. It just means you should be careful. You should protect yourself. You should always be vigilant. You should always trust your instincts. Loved this story? Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a video. I upload brand new stories every single day. Gripping, emotional, and packed with twists that'll keep you guessing until the very end. Don't forget to like this video if it gave you all the feels. Comment below. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? How did you handle it? I read every single comment. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the best lessons come from other people's experiences. Got a story idea? Drop it in the comments. Your suggestion might just become the next video on this channel. Subscribe now and join our growing family of story lovers. New videos drop daily at 7 a.m. EST. Perfect to watch with your morning coffee. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Until next time, stay strong, stay brave, and never let anyone make you feel like you're not enough. Because you are. You always have been, and you always will be.